Welcome to Command Control Power, the longest-running Apple consulting podcast. For over a decade, we've delivered weekly episodes filled with epic tech support stories, troubleshooting insights, discussions about managing clients and businesses, and interviews with industry colleagues and vendors, all tailored for our pro listeners. We also offer exclusive content through Patreon. This private podcast feed is designed specifically for IT professionals, providing valuable advice and guidance on tackling the more complex aspects of running your practice, working with clients and employees, and managing device fleets. With a modest monthly contribution, you'll gain access to a wealth of advanced Apple expertise, meaningful connections, and a community driven by a shared passion for Apple technology. Visit commandcontrolpower.com and click support to learn more.
Command Control Power is brought to you commercial-free thanks to the support of our incredible community. We extend a special thank you to our VIP Premier partners, Adigy, the leading Apple device management platform, Tidbits Content Network, Watchman Monitoring, Cirrus Partners, Electrona, the makers of Patch, and our newest VIP partner, Scout IT. We truly appreciate our VIP supporters and all of our patrons for making this show possible. Thank you.
Welcome to another episode of Command Control Power. For those of you joining us live for the live stream, patrons, you'll see Jerry's background is a classic image there featuring us as Simpsons characters from several years ago. This must have been the early days of ChatGPT.
Because now they can't create a Simpsons image because of copyright?
Because I remember this as being like years and years ago, but I don't know how you would have done that without ChatGPT. Not so much that now it's copyright, but...
Yeah, no, I had a picture and I just told it to give me a Simpsons style rendering of it. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. It's got the wrestlers in the background there that we were posing with. So
that's right. So we got, classic. Not to expose too much or reveal too much about the Saponari extended family, but Joe's sister... Does she still work for?
No, at the time she was working for WWE. So we got invited to, I think were we at Aces or something?
We were at Aces.
We were at Aces, and there was a wrestling match in that city. I forget even which year it was, and where
short walk away from the hotel. Yeah.
So
in
exactly.
We were in
Baltimore. Got it. Yep, that makes sense. And we walked over, saw a wrestling match. So that's and brought John Brown, I think, right? It was
John Brown, and I think one of his assistants.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Yeah, this was years ago.
And if you want to find some connective tissue for your family there, Joe, you've been known to slam down clients in the past. You've been accused of that.
Yeah, exactly. Metaphorically, let's just be clear. But that's as you know me over all these years, I'm sure you can imagine me. Yeah, even metaphorically slamming someone down is pretty much of a stretch. But so as we record, I know you don't keep it too timely here, especially since we're recording it typically a few weeks in advance. But just today, I noticed the MacBook Pro with M5 chip was released. And I was surprised. I wasn't that surprised because I heard the rumors, but I read it through some Apple News link to some third-party site. So I found my way there a roundabout way. I expected to hear more about it from the primary sources, but linked over to Apple's page and played around with the pre-order specs. And it's available for pre-order as we record, and I think shipping next week. So by the time you hear this, it'll be available, and it looks like a nice little spec bump. So I haven't really scrutinized the specs of what the M5 chip offers and compared to the M4 and prior, but one thing I noticed that I thought was worth mentioning that would be relevant to me as well is that it now offers a 4 terabyte version on the base M5. So in other words, you don't need the M5 Pro, which is not out yet, or the M5 Max, presumably will be out at some point. They're still offering the MacBook Pro with M4 Pro and M4 Max, but they have this new M5, plain old regular M5 MacBook Pro, and they do have the 4 terabyte option, which I think might mean that we will finally see 4 terabyte iMacs again, because we haven't had an iMac above 2 terabytes since the last Fusion Drive models years and years ago. So many years ago, like 2019 now. That will be a welcome thing to be able to sell a client an iMac when all they really need is they're close to 2 terabytes of storage or they've exceeded 2 terabytes of storage. And they don't really need even a Mac Mini with a separate monitor, or certainly a Mac Studio. They just would love to have an all-in-one iMac. Now, that may be an option, I'm hoping, in the near future. As Mike Kingsley says.
There would be edge cases, I think, that would need those 4 terabytes for sure.
Yeah, it's more of an edge case. Absolutely. Yeah. But it's just nice that we won't have to go real pro to get that in the future.
And of course, I think Apple looks at that iMac as a home machine, a family machine, probably differently than they did a few years ago with Intel, where they were in production environments, let's say at a creative studio, and there'd be a number of workstations with these iMacs. I don't think they think of them in that same way because it's only 24 inches now, and it comes in color. I don't think they're...
I know the colors make it seem like back in the old days of the Bondi blue, like when it did seem more like a toy at that point. Yeah, it's a fair point.
But I don't think they think of it as a pro, I'm going to do the air quotes here, pro machine.
No, it's fair. And that's why it doesn't get the pro chips. And Sam, what's your take on the new MacBook Pro with M5? I know you had a busy day teaching, but did you have a chance to see any of the news from Apple? We've also got a new Vision Pro with M5. Sam must be muted.
Sam's got technical issues here. He sounds great, though. Sam, we really can't hear you.
I sound best when I'm muted. That's
right. I'm wondering how you did your class muted. Did anybody notice?
I have a new Anchor USB adapter, and I think it's just not recognizing my mic by default. I don't know why, but anyway.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I have nothing to say on the subject because I saw the articles, I saw stuff, and I'm like, I have no time to look at this right now.
Yeah, so no,
I'm relying on you.
I just skimmed it. Yeah, I skimmed it. It's nice that the M5 is out. That usually means, like I was saying, the iMac may not be far behind. In past years, they've released either the iMac first or the MacBook Pro first with the new chipset. So it's just nice to see that the M5, plain old M5 MacBook Pro has the 4 terabyte SSD option, which may mean that it will come to the iMac. And of course, I'm hoping, again, personally, for the MacBook Air with M5, if the M5 chip supports these higher storage tiers without going with the Pro version or the Max, I'm hoping we get a MacBook Air with 4 terabytes as well. So that, like Jerry said, it's an edge case, but I happen to be on that edge. So,
if I may ask, Joe, what the hell are you doing running around with that much data? Like, what's on there?
Listen, I could use cloud syncing. I did van life for 2 years. I took a ton of photos and videos. I still take a lot of photos. And so it's like I think I'm close to 2 terabytes just on iCloud in terms of mostly photos, obviously, and then backups of a couple devices. I just had to upgrade the storage on iCloud, which is how I know I'm exceeding 2 terabytes now. So yeah, my Mac is mostly that. And again, there's some stuff I could probably clean up, but it's one of those things where it seems like it would take me constant effort just to try to keep it under 2 terabytes. You guys know how that is. You help clients with this sometimes, and unless you delete like a big chunk of something they'll never need again, that vacuum tends to be filled with stuff pretty soon, doesn't it?
Do you have it? Do you have a NAS, Sam, at home that has stuff that's you're not carrying around in your laptop, or do you roll like Joe where you've got a lot of data?
I think I do have a NAS, and it used to carry like a bulk of stuff, but I think over the years, everything I need is local, and like with cloud syncing and things of that nature, I think sometimes I'll just, if I really need to, I'll make things cloud only, but I haven't had much of a storage issue in a while.
And what is your storage size on your laptop, Sam, if you don't mind me asking? Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, let's do a live check here.
It's a good question. Oh, I'm only a terabyte.
As am I.
But I have 600 gigs available.
You guys are space shaming me now. Oh yeah, I feel like I'm all bloated with storage over here.
Carrying over there, man.
That's what I asked him. I got some hand wavy answer.
I got 3 gigs of books alone. Okay, this is according to my storage report here. This just happens to be one of the fastest ones to finish updating. Let's see here. Yeah, documents is over a terabyte. I think that's some virtual machines that could go away.
A digital book reader, huh? This is always intriguing to me.
Yeah, I tend to do it just for convenience.
I like a book in my hand.
No, I do too. Here, is it still there? Joe
gets to get a book
we're gonna give this book to a friend, Cloud Cuckoo Land. Have you guys ever?
Oh, I thought it said cuckold. I was like, oh,
yeah. This is actually signed by the author here. Let's see. He did a talk in Boulder. And so just to show you that I do read physical books sometimes too.
Nice.
He just for those listening at home, he says, for Ashley and Joe, thanks so much for being a reader, which I guess is not grammatically correct because it's to two of us. So it should say, thanks so much for being readers. So clearly he needs an editor, but no, it's a thick book too. No, this is an excellent book. He wrote, there's one that he's much better known for, but this is an excellent book. So Anthony Doerr, Cloud Cuckoo Land is the
sounds like some of my clients, my elderly clients.
Yeah, exactly.
Cloud Cuckoo Land.
But,
by the way, I was just going to say, Sam, if you and I looked at Joe's machine, we'd probably find some Apple Mail log file that's
exactly. No, believe me, I've done that when I had the MacBook Air and I had the 2 terabyte limit. I was hitting that limit and I was doing all the same things I do for clients and then some. And I was going through my Dropbox and granted, a lot of the stuff could just go away, but I've marked a lot of things on Dropbox as cloud only, like Sam is saying. Like I used to have a whole software repository. I'd have a clean installation of Mavericks or whatever, because back in the day, we would like sometimes use those to image a machine, or have my like Psi tool that I used to use to do hardware repairs. I've got like versions of that, all this stuff that I could just delete it. It might as well just live in the cloud. So I've gone through that and I've found a little stuff in various corners, but yeah, there's a lot here. Let's see. How do I actually have a backup of my current iPhone? When did I make that? Okay. That's 83 gigs. I don't even know when that appeared on my system. When did I make a back? Okay. So yeah, to your point, I could probably get this down quite a bit, but
sounds like you need a consultant.
Yeah, but I'd rather pay, like, what's the difference in price? It's like a $500 or $600 for me to go from 2 terabytes to 4 terabytes, and I'm going to keep the machine for 5 years. My time is worth something. Yeah, I could just put it all in the cloud, and maybe it wouldn't take me that much time, but I'd rather just have the storage and not worry about it and not spend the time on it.
Just like we call Sam Mr. Apple, we're going to call you Mr. 4 terabytes from this point forward.
4 terabytes, wow. Big spender, I know. Anyway, I thought it was useful. You guys must not encounter this very much, because I swear I have clients where the only reason they go with a MacBook Pro is because they need 4 terabytes. Again, maybe we could help them not hold all this stuff forever. And same thing, they could go with the iMac, but they need to go with a Mac Mini or a Mac Studio just because they need 4 terabytes or more in some cases. But
you have a lot of photography clients and stuff, right? Or maybe not a lot, but I don't know.
Yeah. Some of them fall into that category, or just, prolific.
Hoarders.
Hoarders or hobbyist photographers. Guys, I got one more quick thing here, and then I don't know who's up next, but I just listened to this. You probably know the show, This American Life. It's a radio program.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it.
This one. But they do a podcast, of course, and their latest episode is called My Other Self. And there's a great story about a guy using an AI voice clone tool to like basically waste the time of scammers. So this is where it comes up in our kind of world.
Oh, I think Jerry talked about this. Yeah.
Did you mention this, Jerry? This particular one, or?
Sorry, go ahead. Let me hear it out.
No, that's the story. It's interesting to hear like the person who operates like a bot much of the time, like just reading you stuff from a flow chart, basically interacting with an actual bot. And it's just like really funny premises. And then he actually uses it on his friends, which is even weirder. It gets into a weird place. Some people know right away, oh, this is an AI bot. You must be doing something for your podcast because this guy has a podcast. And other people are like talking to this bot forever and can't tell that it's him. Pretty weird.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Check it out.
I don't think I mentioned it, but yeah, it sounds great.
No, Jerry, there was something you had that was like, maybe it was a recording of some kind, but they would play it back and it would just waste the person's time. And they had some interesting situations like, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm in the operating room or something weird.
Oh, right. Yeah. Can you hold on a second? Yeah, and then 5 minutes goes by.
Yeah. That was an app that you would buy for the iPhone that would answer these spam calls and pre-programmed pregnant pauses and then answer it in ludicrous situations where a woman was delivering a baby.
Stuff like that. That's
that was called, I don't know. I had it on my phone. It was just like $25 a year. I stopped doing it.
Okay.
Because most of the scammers now, they're on to you when they hear those goofy replies, they probably know they're being played. So you've got to be a lot quicker or smarter.
Yeah.
Jerry, can you shift to the right a little bit? You're blocking my Simpsons.
I had slouched. I know. I had slouched down earlier. Here, let's do this.
There you go.
It's better. Yeah. Nice.
Something for the visual.
I don't know who's who behind Jerry. One is me and one is Sam.
Yeah, Sam's got the teeth, and that's you in the middle, Joe.
I got the teeth. That's funny.
It looks like I have an Adidas shirt on.
Yeah.
So I think that checks
or
out.
Adidas.
Yeah, probably. No, I'm more likely to wear an Adidas shirt than an Adidas shirt. That's how you know it's me. And Sam has a command shirt on. It's just like the AI version of our show. Command.
That's funny.
That's pretty good.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So this is not overly technical, but it was just top of mind because it was yesterday. But we know from the show that I got a new smart TV, and then Jerry got one as well a few months afterwards. And I've been using my smart TV and I love it. And I have my Apple TV in my living room, and slowly I started to just download the apps on my smart TV of Amazon Prime, Netflix, and whatever. And I started to sign into those. And I realized more and more I was just using the smart TV. And then I have a Plex server, and I was like, oh, you know what? I was going back to that was like the only thing I was going back to my Apple TV for. So I installed Plex and I signed in. I was like, oh, I can do this on my smart TV. And then I realized it has AirPlay. And I'm like,
wow. Yeah.
There's zero reason now for me to have a physical Apple TV anymore in my living room.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, right? I was just thinking about it yesterday. I was like, this is nuts. What do I need? I love the Apple TV, but I don't need it.
I got one example for you why you might need it. FaceTime.
Oh, okay. All right. You got me.
I've never used it, but like I've had moments where I thought, if this was built into the Apple TV, it'd be way better. You're gathered around like with a family on one side and another family on the other side, and you need it's like a big screen and whatever, and you put the phone up there. Yeah. So that's in theory. That's the one thing I could think of that would be like a feature that would only work with the integrated app on the Apple TV.
And it's funny. Sorry, Jerry, just one thing, because I saw Mike Kingsley say like, ew, the apps are always better on Apple TV.
That's
and
true.
I would agree. And that was my whole reason for like, when I first bought the smart TV, I was like, I'm not using these terrible looking apps. Like I'm going right to my Apple TV. And then I just tried it. And I was like, oh, it's not so bad. And I was like, so I started using it, and then I just eventually migrated over. It took me a number of months, but now I'm full.
Wow.
It's weird. I feel icky saying it, but.
Nice. Yeah.
Anyway,
there's a compelling reason not to use the built-in smart TV. As a matter of fact, when we got ours, we have the same brand. Sam's got a real big fancy pants. His TV's twice the size of mine. So if that gives you a good inclination, if you're listening to the
diagonally
show.
though, right? So it's
if I have I don't know.
You got to use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out
if I have a 52, proportion. Sam's got 104 on diagonal.
I got you.
Right? Yeah. And I purposely never signed in. Now I am missing potentially some sort of a firmware upgrade that I could get for the TV. But immediately when you join their ecosystem, and Sam, you're right. There's a lot of things that run absolutely in parallel. I got a Plex server too. You're surrendering over all your browsing data. You're giving them stuff for free. And so
I assume that.
So you're certainly welcoming Samsung into your family at that point. So there's that. Yeah. But also with the Apple TV integrated with a soundbar, there's certain features that they built in with these newer versions of the Apple TV, like enhanced dialogue. So if you're always struggling to hear dialogue, it's actually gotten better on the Apple TV if you use their software and select enhanced dialogue. And also, it had been in the past. Obviously, it wouldn't be in this case. But if you were going like from a Roku to an Apple TV is always going to give you just a little bit better resolution. But I don't know. I just tried to stay away from that. I'm not saying it would be terribly wrong to do that, but it's just another company that knows that you're watching Netflix, and I don't know.
I think that's a great point, Jerry. Actually, that's something that I always try and stay away from, and what I like about Apple as a company. So I didn't even take that into account, if I'm being honest. And now that you mention it, I'm like, crap. Now I'm just going to go back.
We'll wait. Go ahead. Sign out.
All right, I'll be right back.
We'll chat. Yeah.
Yeah, you can refer back to our last show for the special key commands to sign out from the Netflix app, at least on your Samsung TV. I included that in our separate show. Who was it in the chat? Was it Adam Rice who said today I learned I could use the Konami code to sign out? That was the name I was trying to remember. The Konami code was like the video game. It's like up, up, down, left, left, A, B, start, or whatever. It's like something like that. That's not the Konami code. That's the Mario Brothers or
the cheat code. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Exactly. I'm glad somebody remembered it.
Oh yeah.
So that came up because of our family vacation. But I've thought the same thing. It's really about the advertising, and not just advertising, personal data, like the fact that they will track everything. There was even a thing, I think it was LG maybe, like where the TVs were actually listening to you. Like literally there was a microphone built in. That's completely insane. I mean, there's obviously the Apple TV is listening too, like for the lady in the box that can sometimes answer your questions or whatever. But that's, at least they've gone through the phase of, oh, whoops, we collected more recordings than we were supposed to. And like, I assume that's not happening anymore because Apple has a lot to lose, which is the whole point of choosing Apple over Samsung or Google or whoever. But
that reminds me of Succession. Did both of you guys see Succession? Or
I did.
Yeah. Where they had the tagline of "We're listening," and then they had to change it before a conference because they're like, "We just found out from legal that we are technically listening."
Yeah, you really shouldn't say that. Yeah, a little too on the nose.
Funny.
Wow. Speaking of listening, it just occurred to me the other day. So Jerry talked about the AirPods Pro recently. So Jerry, you're still rocking the 2s, the new set of 2s, right? Sam, you have your 3s by now.
No, I returned everything again. I'm sorry. I'm using my old janky set of AirPods Pro 2s.
Oh, yeah. That's
so I didn't
have 2. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't. I told.
Oh, not even
show,
a new pair of 2s. Yeah, got it.
Exactly. For $150 with 2 years Apple Care, they were selling them at a big box store at Costco, and I even returned those because I'm just going to use these till they stop working.
Yeah. And Sam, how are your 3s? Have you had any?
I would love to tell you, but they're lost in transit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, they were supposed to be here 2 days ago and still have not.
It would be a shame if those AirPods were lost in transit.
Yeah. Just to tie into, we had a whole conversation about AirPods Pro, and there's pros and cons to the 3. I thought it was really interesting seeing some of the AirPods Pro 3 feedback was like really positive and some was not. And so it's just a personal listening choice for a lot of people. But I just like taking a step way back. It's the perfect Apple product, really, the AirPods. If you think back to the original set of AirPods, we've all been doing this work for a long time. I've always had a Bluetooth headset of some sort, not always, but like since pretty early on, I realized like this would be way easier if I just had like a wireless thing I could get up and pace around the room while I'm talking to people. It's great. Yeah. But back then, they were all Bluetooth and mono. So Apple, of course, comes out with a better connection standard, right? Yes, Bluetooth is involved, but like it works really well. And they're stereo. Like, it's just the perfect story of an Apple product. Like no one else realized that there was a market for wireless, like earbuds or whatever. Like, how did no one come out with that before Apple just came out with AirPods and everybody bought them?
I think there were. I think like JBL and Bose had something. They were on the scene roughly around the same time. Sony too had a wireless pair of earbud.
With that were stereo. I never tried them. I guess maybe I just didn't. Apple's marketing maybe then is the secret. But
they were big in the hi-fi world. So all these hi-fi heads who just wanted to have wireless,
like
and of course,
headphones. But you're saying also the little buds too.
Oh yeah,
in-ear ones. Okay.
So maybe not JBL, but Sony definitely, and Bose was pretty early to the market as well.
Okay, I stand slightly corrected then.
But you're right. The functionality of them is still very special and very magical, especially the way it can do handoff from devices. It was a little janky for a while, but now with these firmware updates, it's really amazing. There's something very special about the product. It's one of those products that you can really love from Apple. If you love your computer, you can love your AirPods. And totally. I know you guys probably use them every day. I use them every day, mostly when I'm on the treadmill doing a little bit of exercise.
Yeah, they're great for exercise. They're great for walking and listening to a podcast. They're great for obviously being on the phone all day. As I wrote down some notes, like a stereo version with really good sound, low latency, great battery life, and an iconic form factor. And it all just works. Swipe to change the volume. Like it. Yeah, they're just like the perfect Apple product. It's just so appropriate that Apple, I think they're great. So anyway, I still don't see the benefit of the 3s though, because the 2s are pretty much perfect. Yeah, Mike says his 3s are amazing and even better sound quality than the 2s and better fit. Although some people said worse fit.
That is something I'm curious about, because I have 2 different like size ears apparently, and my right side, it's either too big or too small. So I want to see what these are like.
Yeah, you get more tips, right? So more size adjustments. So maybe there'll be a better fit for the tip.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
And one last contribution here is the little pop-up screen when they connect to your phone, and you can check the charging level and just the control. The only thing that the audiophiles have really groused about, and this goes back to the 2s as well, is there's no kind of equalizer built into these. Right. So there is a way for you to fiddle with the sound a little bit through the accessibility settings on the iPhone, but it's not a true what they call parametric equalizer, EQ, where you can really adjust the settings. Because one of the things that they had pointed out was the 3s are a little bit heavier on bass. So if you weren't inclined to want that, you could dial that back with a built-in equalizer. And there's third-party apps that will allow you to do this, but it would be nice to have Apple step up. But that's the Apple way, right? I've heard this on podcasts where they say Apple knows exactly what you want to hear, and they know the sound signature. And so you don't want to mess with that, because that's something that Apple already knows about you.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Yeah. Which I give them a lot of credit for doing the right thing that meets everybody right in the middle. And for maybe 80% of people, it's great. And then all of the people benefit from not having to tweak the settings out of the box. Their monitors are calibrated, things like that. But at the same time, like you said, it doesn't fit everybody. And so it'd be nice to have some ability to adjust it. In accessibility, the issue there is, I guess it's like system wide and regardless of device, I think, like regardless of audio output. So it would be nice to be able to adjust music alone, right? With an equalizer, like you can on the Mac and iTunes. Like why not, or in music, why not have that option in the music settings, for example, or just overall for music apps? But yeah, it's a good point.
Hey, are we going to talk about the fact that we got to meet live in person in Boulder?
Yes, that's right. Sam was here recently. This is got to be I don't know if this has ever happened before, at least not in the last 7-8 years. We've seen each other 3 times this year, Sam.
I know. Really,
since I left the Northeast for van life and then moved into Boulder, like during COVID. Yeah, I haven't seen you this often since then.
I'm kind of tired of you, to be honest. But
I know. Let's wait until at least next year until we see each other again. But yeah, that was a nice treat to just hang out, not at a conference, not an Apple summit, but just at the summit in Boulder. Not quite. You did, I guess. You did the hike here. But
were you just driving by, Sam? How did this happen?
Yeah.
No, I was at a conference. So to be clear, I did have work, but it was in Joe's neighborhood. So yeah, so we got a chance to hang out, and we actually went to what I found was a famous restaurant, Casa Bonita, just outside Denver, or in Denver, I guess. But
yeah,
and I just my daughter just showed me the South Park episode that it was featured in, which was really fun.
Oh wow!
Oh nice. Was that before or after they bought it? Because so Trey and Matt, the creators of South Park, bought Casa Bonita, and it had been like this Denver institution for decades prior to that, and then it was like out of business for a few years. They bought it, refurbished the whole thing, spent millions of dollars on it, and now it's like this huge draw. But the episode that you're talking about, was that like after they bought it, or how did they?
I don't know. It probably was afterwards, because Cartman was just so enthused about going to Casa Bonita. They were probably just giving free advertising for
promoting
their own place.
it. Yeah, exactly. That was a great meal though. And yeah, if people haven't been there, when you're anywhere near Denver, go to Casa Bonita, because it's just like the most unique dining experience. It's not really a restaurant per se, even. It's just weird. It's
Jerry,
cool.
I'm getting a lot of the questions in the chat here. They want to know who picked up the tab.
We actually split it.
Yeah. Right down the middle, Jerry.
Right down the middle, yeah.
Even though I had more breadsticks. No, I'm just kidding. But they have high dive divers. at this place. So you go to this area and they're diving, like cliff jumping.
Cliff jumping into a pool. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
Wow.
It was pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
Pretty wild. We saw
I don't get out very much, so anything is crazy to me. A restaurant that has fish, that's good for me.
Yeah. Nice.
That excites me.
Nice. Yeah.
That was a good time. It was good. We got to get the three of us together next time in the Northeast that Joe's in town.
Definitely. Yeah. But I can't see you, Sam, for at least another few months. So we'll have to do this in 2026.
True. I think just has to be Barry and I for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. So let's see. I want to talk Canva, which I teased a little bit in a previous episode. Jerry put this on our radar, and I have a whole topic about that for our Patreon listeners, because I'll talk a little bit about presenting my managed service plan and just revamping how that works, and also experimenting with a all-you-can-eat plan for the first time. So we'll talk about that in our Patreon recording. In the meantime, just some random stuff that has come up. Do you guys know about the Launch Angels folder? We know about Launch Daemons. There's a new folder called Launch Angels.
Wow.
Let's talk about this. So
give me
what you got, because I was actually a little surprised yesterday about finding it, and I didn't invest.
Okay, were you really? Okay, see, now that's even more interesting that it caught Mr. Apple. We have to use that term whenever possible.
To be clear, it caught me by surprise when I did an autocomplete, or tried to do a tab autocomplete in Terminal.
Okay, and it shows up.
Yeah, and I completely had forgotten about it. I was like, oh, yeah, Launch Angels. But yeah. So go on. How did you come across?
Yeah, so it got on my radar through one of the usual methods, the macadmins.news newsletter, which linked to the Eclectic Light Company, Howard Oakley, who we've had on the show before. He's often like the first one to post about a lot of this stuff. And so it's basically the initial info is this exists and let's see what it's for. So he gives you a little bit more info than that about how this is as of macOS 26.0.1. There are now 3 Launch Angels, each with a plist we're talking about /system/library/Launch Angels. That is not going to be easy to start to remember that. My brain wants to autocomplete Launch Daemons, or Launch Agents. But anyway, Accessibility UI Server, Game Overlay UI, and Poster Board. So those are the things that have Launch Angels. So I don't know. I can read the rest of this article, but
they're basically just initially they will be just for Apple stuff. Whereas it was in the root level library, you could have Apple stuff combined with third party stuff.
Good point.
So I guess that's their separation point. And I'm assuming that they're just going to keep adding more to that Launch Angels.
Yeah, migrating one framework at a time or something over into Launch Angels.
Yeah,
one Apple thing at a time, which makes sense. So it's a system library folder. We don't know if there'll be I'm sorry. Yeah, it's right. There's no Launch Angels in the root library folder. But there are obviously, as we know, Launch Agents and Launch Daemons in the root library folder. So who knows if Apple stuff will just be in the system library or in the root library folder, but
I don't know. I guess that could change as well, but
something to be.
So I guess we're mispronouncing Daemons now, right? If it's Angels and Dan Brown, Angels and Demons, because Dan Brown's book isn't called Angels and
Daemons. I know. That's a good point.
Nice, good one, JP.
Yeah.
Only read that in hard copy, by the way, kids.
Here's something I learned from a totally different source, which is the Cocktail newsletter. I've mentioned Cocktail, I haven't used them in many years, but I'm still on this newsletter. And every once in a while I see a tip there that I don't see elsewhere. So just kept it. And this one is about the ability to switch.
That's why you need 4 terabytes. You got
all these newsletters are in a folder somewhere. A few K each. It really adds up. Yeah. But so Apple rolled out a feature allowing you to migrate from other third-party music services to Apple Music. So you can basically now there's playlist export and import, which I know iTunes had that, and I think Apple Music had that. Basically support it now to be able to switch. And this comes up, my wife's a yoga teacher. It seems like in the yoga world, a lot of them use Spotify. Yeah. And it's largely because it's just really easy to connect to the Sonos system, things like that. So that's how.
And you could share with other people and.
Right. Sharing playlists and stuff. And that's like a whole ecosystem. You can do the same in Apple Music. And from my perspective, I'm like, we're already paying for Apple Music. It would be better just to not pay for Spotify. If it's what's used in her field, then
it's a simple ask,
what it is.
Joe. That's all she's looking for. just pay for her Spotify for the year.
And she's
a good woman. Don't give her a hard time.
She's worth it. It's true. No, but it's just the fact that that this is available now is a nice option to have.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry, were you the one that, I don't know, I'm just throwing random crap out there on today's show, but were you the one that told me about the Bluetooth adapter for the planes where you could connect like AirPods or something like that?
Oh, yeah, the 12 South product.
Yeah, AirFly.
Yeah. I think I got some knockoff brand of it, but it's awesome. I just got it on Amazon, some rando pair, or rando piece, but it connects in because I just had a flight, as we know. And it's pretty incredible, actually, to be able to just connect my wireless headset over to the ancient airline stuff.
It's really great for long haul flights, especially because the headphones that they give you are so terrible.
Oh, yeah. They're awful.
And you don't want to be wired in because how many times have you gotten up from your seat and you forgot you were wired in and you rip the stuff out of your head and you knock over food on your tray? Yeah, it's not good. Not a good look.
No.
That's actually funny. I've seen people do that. I try and be very mindful of my wire. But
yeah, I don't think they have any proprietary electronics in their AirFly from 12 South. And you could find them really cheap on Amazon, the 12 South brand. And even if you get them from Amazon warehouse too, where people buy them and then they just return them like me. Done with my trip, I'm going to send them back to Amazon. I'm within my return window.
How many times does Amazon let you buy and rebuy the same product running that scheme?
I know, right?
They're like, traveling a lot this year. It's the fifth Amazon shipment.
I'm probably not the worst offender because supposedly the ones that are the worst offenders, they go after. But there's been a lot of 2 and 4 terabyte, to speak your language, 4 terabyte drives that I bought for maybe a week.
Oh, wow.
Do
you at least erase them before sending them back?
Oh yeah. They're usually for client migrations. Yeah.
No, it's funny you mentioned the 4 terabyte drive. So because I'm a data hoarder, as I've admitted on the show, I need a big backup drive too. So I have a 4 terabyte SSD for my backup, but I have a new one and I use that. And then I have an earlier model, 2 terabyte. And I've tried to exclude things from my backup. And I'm like, how much time am I spending on Carbon Copy Cloner trying to figure out what to exclude just to make this clone work, whatever. Let me just get another 4 terabyte SSD because I do want to have 2 to like a backup of a backup. See my previous comment about data hoarding. I bought a couple of these. The most recent one I bought was this 4 terabyte Samsung, I believe. Let me actually double check this. And it was not good. It died a couple times in the middle of a couple of clones. And so I gave it like a second chance and reconnected it, ran the clone again, crapped out in the middle again. So I gave up at that point. I'm not troubleshooting an SSD to try to, maybe I can make it work. Swap the cable, whatever. No, I'm just not going to trust it at that point.
Can you pull up that spec?
So of the model I bought? Yeah. So it is.
That's ones I'll typically defer to.
Yeah, I was surprised because I have the 2 terabyte one, which was fine. And I think it was the same product line.
Is it the T7? Is that what they call it? There's one called the T7. And then there's one that's faster than that.
That's right. Yeah. So this was the T7. So it was the Samsung T7 portable SSD, 4 terabyte, The earlier one I have might be the T5. Let me see. Yeah, the earlier one I have, that is the 2 terabyte. Sorry, no, it's the 4 terabyte that I'm still using is the T5. So the Samsung T5 Evo has a slightly different form factor with a little kind of ring on the end or like a loop to attach something on the end of it. It just looks a little different, but that one has been working just fine. Never had an issue with it. I like the sleek form factor. The T7 was even slimmer, like it's really thin, and it's not the Evo, which I thought made it like a better drive in theory. It could just be a fluke. I don't know. It actually looked, when you open, it has a little sticker that holds the like cardboard box thing closed. Yeah. That looked like it had been peeled slightly. Somebody had already
could have been mine.
Actually, that's a good point. It could have been yours.
Yeah, when I returned.
Is Jim Smith your client by any chance? Because his data was all over that thing. No, I'm just joking. No, but I wonder if somebody like you is buying and returning and they're putting it, because they shouldn't put it back in circulation if it's been returned. But that was my first clue. This doesn't seem right. So, yeah.
Sometimes there are like Amazon, like you get an Amazon order and it's got something, it's touted as new, but it's got something that you see, usually clothing or something, that this has been definitely used.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I also... The other clue with Amazon, I've had smart wool socks in the past. I'm sure you guys have worn smart wool socks.
Yeah.
And so I thought, oh, this would be great. I'll get them on Amazon. This was a few years ago. And they're cheaper there. Great. So I bought a bunch of different, like one or two here and there, and like I just needed some socks. All of the ones from Amazon got holes in them like very quickly. They were much worse quality. They were probably completely fake, or they were just like casticides from my theory is that some of these products that end up on Amazon are like manufactured by the actual company, but they're just like, they didn't pass quality assurance. For example, I bought boxes of tea, the same kind of Tazo tea or whatever you get in the grocery store, found it cheaper on Amazon. So I bought a couple boxes there. All of the little cut parts where like you can tear the wrapper open, they're not there. So you have to find a way to rip it yourself. There's no little, so to me, it's okay. It's a minor quality assurance thing, right? But that's how it probably ended up on Amazon in theory, or it's just totally fake and who knows what's in the tea, which would be an even bigger concern. But yeah.
How do you feel about the man with the umbrella by the grassy knoll? Do you feel that he was involved somehow? That was a signal.
Do I sound like a conspiracy theorist because I've noticed patterns on Amazon? Come on.
Probably very spot on, actually. That was funny.
I think so. Pay attention to stuff like that. So if you have a product you like and you get it at Whole Foods, oh, okay, that's a bad example because now Amazon, whatever, they own each other. But you know what I'm saying? It's a product, you know how it's supposed to look and work, and then you can get it for cheaper on Amazon. See if it's not every product. Most of the stuff is first, whatever you call it, like full quality, but some of it is this weird stuff.
What about Mophis, Joe? Any experience with those?
Don't get me started on Mophie. No, but the new version out of Samsung, because I've ordered and returned like a couple of these drives now, different models I'm testing out. And they're
Ryan Gowdy said that he's never had the problem with the T7s, and he normally uses the 1s and the 2s, and that's the ones that I use too. So I'm going to take note of the fact that you've had some problems with the 4s.
With the 4, exactly, specifically, but not the T5.
If I have to support you with your 4 terabyte drive, I'm going to get a different brand.
T4, T5, whatever it takes.
And then you're going to return it anyway. But yes, get the you might as well go 8 at that point. You're returning it anyway.
Jerry's going to reach the limit.
Do you guys, speaking of buying stuff from Amazon, and it's like really reprehensible when you're shopping with a client and you're doing some sort of a remote session or you're on site and they need to get replacement cartridges for their LaserJet printers or their inkjet printers. And you tell them like, no, this is an HP. You can't get Jackie's ink that says works with your HP, blah, 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 because it's just crap. And then I just went over a client the other day and HP's said on the screen of the HP LaserJet, it said counterfeit cartridges. And it showed all 4 of the inkwells, black, cyan, magenta, and yellow. And the ones that were full but were the bogus cartridges or cartridges that they wouldn't accept had like question marks over the reservoir images. But
it's such a scam.
Part of it, people will say it's a scam that HP charges so much or that Epson charges so much for their cartridges. But the other scammy part of it is the people that charge half the price, knowing very well that all these printers nowadays have chips, just like we do on our credit cards, that read the cartridges and they're just not going to work. So who's
scamming who? I don't know what's worse. Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
My question on that is, do they not work? I know you got the question mark on the ink, but do they not print or do they actually function?
That's a great question. So the printer was still functioning, but the other argument to be made, especially with inkjet, is that if you're not using their formulated ink, it'll clog up the print head. And I can abide by that. I understand, like from a scientific standpoint, that's probably true. Somebody could reverse engineer what Epson uses in their cartridges, but how do you know? There's so many Chinese knockoffs of this stuff. But I think it's misleading to people who don't know about this stuff. where they just search for ones and they see, HP's $75 per cartridge, and I could get a whole set of 4 for $75. I know the one I'm going to buy.
Right. And all I'm printing is my daughter's homework. I don't need it to be like perfect. What do I care? Yeah, that's the thought process.
To answer your question, Sam, I saw this printer just the other day. It had 2 phony cartridges in it, or ones that weren't compatible with HP. And then there was one bona fide HP black cartridge in there. So the printer was still working, but I would wonder if you pulled those out, the ones that were the HPs, and you just put in a bogus, I'm going to call them bogus, all fake. Maybe the printer would say, I'm sorry, I can't help you here.
Yeah,
it's possible.
I've seen it report supposedly fake ink on real ink. Like those systems malfunction sometimes. Or it's the same thing that happens if the printer detects a paper jam and there's no paper jam. It's not going to print. There's no override for that. You know what I mean? So if it detects what it thinks is a problem, you're just at the whims of those sensors. So it's one more thing that can go wrong. But I had a client today ask about this who said, yeah, I get charged by HP every month. I'm on this instant ink thing. I get alerts about...
That's a scam.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Right, because you get charged every month, like whether you do any printing or not. And then they charge you for the pages that you print. Crime. And then she says, I don't know, like, she's, I think I need more ink. I don't know. And I'm like, so we look in her email. She has this email from HP saying, here's what we charged you this month in September or whatever. And then she says, I don't know, do I need to buy ink or something? I said, I'm pretty sure they just send you ink. And then I said, we can check the status and see. So she had like more than half in both cartridges. And she said, does it just like refill by itself, or they probably have to send it. I'm like, yeah, they have to send it. I guess like in theory, you could have a practically infinite reservoir of ink. Like you could just have like 2 gallons of ink built into the printer, and you just can't access it until it like authorizes you because you paid or whatever in theory. But it was just a funny question because I was like, how would that? I don't know. You'd have to send it to you. Yeah, exactly. Right. But I don't know. Printers lately have been really driving me crazy once again. So I don't want to get started on that. But yeah, it's a nightmare.
I got one last quick Amazon thing, and then we can beat that drum until it's done. But I went today because I have one of those old Hyper products where it was like a phone charger plus a USB hub and stuff like that. And I've been using it for years. And I realized my camera resolution, it wasn't plugged into a proper USB 3.0. And so anyway, I was like, all right, I'm going to go buy an Anker like 6-in-1 USB hub. So I went to Amazon and I found one and I went to purchase it, and it goes, last purchased in March of 2025. So I was like,
you already had it.
Yeah. I was like, wait a second. So I went and I looked in my cabinet. I'm like, oh, I bought it for that intention. Like,
nice. And you just never plugged it in. Nicely done.
So now I just got it plugged in. That's how much I'm losing my mind, just so you know.
Yeah. This bears repeating just briefly. You've never shown up at a client and done the work, and you realized you had a new client for you. You realized you had been there before.
Oh yeah. Nice.
That was really sad.
Oh,
that's funny. That's funny.
Like, who did you have somebody in here? I was asking the people.
What job did they do?
Yeah.
Like, who did this?
Yeah. I can tell you've never had any professional help here because oh man, that's sad.
That's pretty funny though.
Oh, here's a little. It doesn't have to do with Amazon, unless you got another Amazon story there.
No, good.
No.
So this is funny. So I got a job lined up in a couple days. And so my wife goes into REI because we're sending our daughter a backpack. She's out in Ohio because it's her birthday coming up. So I'm waiting in the car with the dog, and I'm watching a compilation video on YouTube, just killing time, of people who were going to, it was an Antiques Roadshow, compilation video of people who had Beatles memorabilia. I've got a picture of Ringo, and he signed it in 1965, and they put a number on it. So 3 or 4 segments in, there's my client.
No way.
Yeah,
Really?
there's my client. He was on Antiques Roadshow. And I mean, it would be one thing if, I hadn't seen him in a while or something like that, but I was going to see him like 2 days from that day.
Wow.
And he was presenting this personalized letter that he had from George Harrison. And George Harrison wrote him this really special note and did drawings at the bottom of it. So that was cool, because we know that Lennon did funny drawings, but George evidently did too. And this particular guy, my client, he's like a ukulele guy. And so I guess ukulele is the same. If you're into ukuleles, if you're into bagpipes, it's a small community of people who are really into it. So supposedly like Jeff Lynne from ELO was really into ukuleles, and there are all these Brits, and supposedly George had a whole trunk full of ukuleles, and anytime he would visit one of his buddies, and they didn't have one, he would give them one. So he was just like this real big uke freak. And my guy lived out in California, and I think that's where they met, and that's how they arranged that meeting with him. But it was weird set of circumstances.
Did you mention it? I would say, can I see the George Harrison letter when you get there, and just see if he gets the reference?
There's more to the story. So I show up at the guy just yesterday, I think, and we had done and I charged him for it, like a pre-thing. He had this old MacBook Pro, and the battery was swelling, and it's about to burst into flames at any moment. We had set him up with a MacBook Air, and I took him through all the steps. So the MacBook Air arrives. I'm there to onboard it, and he doesn't like the 13. And I realize that we did not really talk about screen size.
Oh, wow.
So that was a free visit.
Oh, boy.
No, don't tell me that. No.
Well,
I get it.
Remembered who he was, so that's a good thing.
That's right. I knew I had met him before. So I did, before we knew that he had to like take the machine down to the local Apple store and get credit and reorder a 15, because they didn't have one in stock. We wanted to get a 24 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte drive in the 15-inch in the M4. And of course, the Apple store has the crappiest computers, just the entry level 256 gig drives. You can never go down there. Like they used to have that, right?
Yeah.
From time to time, they would have.
We used to see a variety. There'd be like the low end, obviously, and then a maxed out one. Sometimes you'd have to go with the extra GPU that you don't really want, and processor speed just to get the 4 to 2 terabytes or something. Yeah.
So maybe if I took the Joe Saponari route, Sam, and I asked for you told me to get a 2 terabyte because you can't get a 4 in the MacBook Air, they would have had that, and he would have been okay.
No, he would have come home with a 256 MacBook Air and an external SSD. So it doesn't matter what number, 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes. It's just like, we got an SSD in all sizes here. It just has to plug in. I don't want to harp on. We spent a whole show talking about the Apple Store hijinks, but honestly, I feel like my results with them have been much more consistent. I don't know if it's because now we're just using the custom store program for obviously anything business related, and we're less clients just stumble in there like on their own without advice much less frequently, and maybe that's part of it, but it hasn't been a struggle like it once was. There was a time in the middle where like you'd still want to be able to get the repairs done in person, and they just didn't do that anymore. So that now repairs are just like so infrequent that the shipping time and stuff doesn't even matter. There's not much that they're just doing sales. Like it's not really, there's not much for them to really mess up or
is that your experience?
Disagree with us about or anything like that for me anymore.
Store level, you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know that I've had I have interactions with the business team, but I'm not going in a lot for that stuff too much. And it's not, I'm not dealing with a lot of, I did have a repair recently, but I'm not dealing with a lot of repair related issues these days.
No.
You ever melt any keys?
Melting any keys, yeah.
Melting any keys. Yeah, you got to listen to the show, Sam. We have a show
coming up. Was that a Patreon? I forgot if that was...
no, that was a public show.
Public show. Okay. I got one more. I don't know if we have time for this, but I wanted this to be public. So I had a kind of a win on a couple accounts here, but with AI. And I love telling you guys about this because Jerry's our AI, Mr. AI, and it's nice to be able to join in the fun sometimes. So I had a client call about a MacBook Air that was misplaced, and they said she can't find her computer. This was an employee of one of our clients. So it was managed, but it was not using Find My or Activation Lock. And so my solution in this case was I have a policy in Adigy called Lost Device, which has some monitoring items in the policy, which will alert me when it comes back online or if the IP changes. I didn't tell you guys about this recently, did I?
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay. I was like, did I mention this already? So these alerts that I'll get basically gives me hope in like when I might be able to log back in and connect to it. And then, so I'll make a note of the client IP address, whatever it last was. So when it changes, I can compare it. I'll then use the host command in terminal. I'm sure you guys know about this, but like you host and then whatever that IP address is.
Host angels.
To get the reverse lookup. Host angels, yeah. So it'll do a lookup or whatever, and it'll tell you what the DNS is for that IP. So it'll tell you like basically you can see the ISP typically, because it'll be like dynamic.optonline or something like that. Or in this case, it was like NYC whatever .fios.verizon.net. So I'm like, okay, it's on a Verizon Fios internet connection, or at least it was very recently. So then I'll try sending the MDM commands that will often wake up the Mac. Like you send the check for updates or refresh updates, whatever, an Adigy, for example, and it'll suddenly light up green. It's okay. It's receiving commands. It's online. Yep. And then you can usually jump in and use Live Desktop to actually connect to it, right? Or sometimes you do a little dance. I'm sure everybody's figured this out, but check for updates and then refresh the page and then check for updates again and then maybe refresh the page again. And then now you'll see the little like indicator of memory usage or CPU usage in the top right of Adigy start to show something. Okay, now the machine's talking live. So then you can live desktop. So anyway, you try all these things. I was able to revive it eventually. Went in, turned on location services, went into the Maps app and took a picture, a screenshot, and I sent them, here's the location. Does this look familiar? You know? So it's okay. But then we weren't sure yet. I wasn't able to reach the client. So I asked Google. I wanted to play a sound, so I didn't have the Find My enabled, and I wasn't in touch with her to say, have the device play a sound or whatever. So I just asked Google, how can this was the question, Mac CLI, command line interface, beep every 10 seconds for 20 minutes, one line. So that was like my Google search that I eventually figured out. So Mac CLI beep every 10 seconds for 20 minutes, one line. So Gemini replied, Google's Gemini, and it says for I in squiggly brackets, 1.120. Yeah, so do a loop for basically 120 times, which is anyway, every 10 seconds times, I think this was basically like 20 minutes of beeping. So it would just beep every 10 seconds. There's more to that thing, but like it plays a sound, the tink sound. So I just let it I sent that command via Adigy. It's just so cool to be able to do that. And then the machine sent beeps every 10 seconds with the little built-in tink sound.
So you ran down the battery, whatever remaining.
Yeah, probably running down the battery in the meantime.
So but I'm like, never find it.
Yeah. So I hear back from the client and she says, oh, got it. It was in my trunk under the carpet. You know, the carpet that's in your trunk?
Yeah.
I didn't think to look there, which I'm like, I wouldn't think to look there either unless I put it under the carpet. What? How did it get there? I'm just like, there's so many questions. I'm just like, I'm glad you found it.
And she found it because of your repeat. Awesome.
Of course, part of it was like, I found it on the map and it was like a map of where she lives basically. So it's like in her trunk of her car at home. So that was like the first clue that it was somewhere at home. And she must have gone out and walked around and she said she did hear it beeping. So she knew to look and dig in or whatever. I still don't know why it was under a carpet in the trunk. The whole thing sounded very strange, but I thought that was cool and great use of Gemini to just give you like a one-liner that you can just push out. And so easy. That's
pretty awesome, actually, man. Yeah. I like that.
There's my story of sleuthing for the day.
That's actually, I dig that. I can give you an example of AI just insulting me if you want, which I did share with you guys, but I actually shared this with you because I had a Zoom call with a client and they wanted me to use AI companions for our listening audience. It gave me a summary in AI of what we spoke about. And for me, it says Sam's non-committal meeting contribution. Sam made brief non-committal sounds, but did not provide any substantial input or discussion points.
And what was our retort to you? Sounds like your appearance on the last episode.
Yeah, we were waiting for Jerry to give it to me.
I know. Oh, man.
Well, I think initially
great.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
sounds about right. I just like how it says brief, non-committal sounds. It's just like, I just imagine you being like, making sounds. AI has no idea what you're saying, Sam. It's just, wow. Oh, that's funny. Good stuff. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to another episode of Command Control Power. We hope you'll join us, patrons, for the next patron-only episode where we will talk about some marketing and a presentation of our monthly plans, some great successes that Jerry and I have had on using Canva for that. If you're not a Patreon subscriber, join us at commandcontrolpower.com and click on support. And you can follow us for a nominal monthly fee to support us on Patreon, and you'll get access to this next episode and all the Patreon episodes as well as the live stream. So thank you all for joining, and we'll talk to you in a week. Special thanks to the following community members whose strong monthly support has sustained us for all these years. Ryan Gowdy, CoreCompetent.com. Weldon Dodd, Kanji.io. Richard Wingfield, EnvisionDesign.net. Adam Rice, AskAdam.io. Mac Admins Podcast, podcast.macadmins.org. Tim Nyberg, TheMacGuys.com. Michael Thompson, Origin84.com. Matthew Waples, Waples.net. Tom Puls, BoxIT.tech. Jerome Potters, PITPro.nl. Steve Sorbo, MacSOS.biz. Andy Espo, CallAndy.com. And Nate Sinal, WeAreScout.com. Thank you all very much, and thanks to our patrons at every level of support. If you enjoy the show, we really would love your support. And if you already support us and can increase your monthly pledge, we really do find that encouraging. CommandControlPower.com and click support. Thanks very much for listening and for supporting the show.
Jerry does his voices of customers of all kinds.
Am I on the cloud?
Joe spins his deeply detailed yarns all the time.
I have a whole story about this.
Sam is on the road again, phoning in from a hotel.
At least we know where I am.
Half a century combined of Apple expertise right now. Right now. My Mac is slow. Have you tried restarting? Well, the fans won't blow. Have you tried restarting? But my data is gone. Have you tried restarting? I dropped it